Have you ever been in a position where you've been made to feel too old at work? How did that make you feel? Unfortunately, ageism is alive and kicking in today's society, and it's not just in the workplace, it's also out there, in the big wide world itself. And I think all of us, 60s and above, have experienced at one point or other ageism either outside of work or in our workplace. So today I'm going to go through my thoughts on ageism and my experience with that and how I deal with it. So stay tuned. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Leanne. And if you're a returning visitor, then welcome back. Great to see you. So, firstly, what does ageism look like in the workplace? How can you tell when that is kicking in and you're experiencing ageism? Firstly, I think one of the major telltale signs is that you are still really keen to sort of contribute to the workplace and you're wanting to maybe move in a different direction but stay within the company, or even still move up the ladder to a higher position, and you keep getting passed over, like you just don't get a look in, and maybe someone younger than you gets the position, and you're finding that that's a repeating pattern every time you want to change position or move up, or sort of move around within the workplace. I think that can be a really obvious telltale sign. I think another one is just in general conversation. You've got people asking you when you're going to be leaving, like, oh, you're thinking of retiring soon, and that kind of stuff. And I don't get offended by that. That doesn't really offend me, but it is labeling you, and it does place a label of being older and reaching that retirement age, and you may not be even ready to retire, even though that you hit that age where you can. You might be wanting to work through, or where you have to work through. So that's a big one. People just assume that you're getting close to retirement age, so they just assume that you're going to retire at that age. Another one is a little bit of social exclusion. So there might be things going on at work, and there's groups of people. You've always got your social groups at work, and you might be getting excluded because most of your colleagues are younger than you. So they tend to sort of gather in their younger groups, and I think that's quite normal anyway. But it's still, you might feel that you're on the outer because you're that older person and you're working amongst younger people. And I feel that a little bit. Yeah, I think it's in every workplace, and I have actually felt that as well. One of them is it's not that they're placing that on me, but I place it on myself, and that's another thing with ageism. It's not just coming from external channels. It could be from you internally placing that label on yourself, thinking that you're too old, or for example, we've got a social club at work, and I looked at all the photos, and they're all really young people, and they go to the different bars, and they might have a drink after work, and they have different social activities away from work that they plan. And when I saw the photos of when I first started in my job, and I saw the photos of all the social club gathering, they were all quite young, and so I felt that I was too old to be a part of that club, so I never joined the social club at work. Because I feel within myself that I'm too old to be amongst that. So that's actually placing myself, me placing that myself into that ageism label, under ageism, I guess. So just, you've got to be aware of that. It's kind of like a two-way street. It's not just all coming from external. It can be coming from you internally. And I think all of us have done that at some point in time. So basically, when that does happen, especially in the workplace, I guess when you're aware of it, it can make you, and especially when you're getting passed over with positions, when you're wanting to change positions, or move into a higher position, I think that can make you have a fair bit of self-doubt about your experience and capabilities. If you keep getting passed over, it can be quite insidious and sort of work its way into you. And I think obviously that is not true at all, because you haven't come this far in life without picking up a lot of experience and having a lot of knowledge. So that's where I think you would know that you feel that ageism creeping in when that happens, and that you have that good experience within that position. The other one, you can feel a lot of frustration because of that. It can be quite tricky. And the other thing is, I think also the invisibility, like you just feel that you're more invisible, like you are invisible compared to what you might have been, 10, 20 years ago. And I think that's a real thing, that invisibility, as I said, outside the workplace. So that's another big one. So the things that I think about when I, really sort of start thinking about ageism and how we deal with that, because it is out there. And I know that a lot of you have commented about feeling that you're too old and being passed up for younger people. And you've mentioned that ageism thing to me a little bit in on some of my videos. So how do you deal with this? That's it's a little bit tricky. I think the number one thing is, for me, is we are aware of it. It is there. It doesn't go away. It's just there. So my thing is, number one is stop being a victim. And you're probably not going to want to hear that, but you don't make yourself a victim of it. Yes, it is out there, but don't get bitter and twisted about it. Don't, just, it is what it is, but don't become the victim. Know your worth and know your experience, and don't allow yourself to become that victim and put that victim label on you of being too old and because of ageism in the workplace. So yeah, so with that victim mentality, I know my worth. I know what experience I've had in my life, and I'm very experienced, and I can contribute a lot to a workplace. So I refuse to let that undermine me. I know what I've done in my life, and I just hold my head high and I don't let that get to me. That's really, really important, because it can be quite insidious. I think another really important one is that you need to embrace the younger generations, the millennials, the Gen Z, because you are working amongst them. So instead of whinging or, being cranky about the way they work, or it's not fair, or, get to understand them. I work with millennials and Gen Z. I'm actually the oldest person in our team. And, there's a couple of Gen Z people, they'd be about 27, and I just love them. I love coming into work. We have great chats. And it's, I hear about their weekends and what they're doing and their hobbies and all sorts of things. And I don't want to be part of their group, but I want to be able to interact and get along with them. So I'm very open. I'm very, they do have different ways of thinking, just different work ethic, all sorts of stuff. They're different to us. They're a different generation. And I love that. I'm really open to understanding what makes them tick, and where they want to go in their future, and all sorts of things. So I think to be closed off to that, you're actually exacerbating that ageism thing. It doesn't help you by looking down on them or blaming them for ageism, or just being angry about it. I guess I think that you need to do the opposite. I know that it can get to you, and it's frustrating. It's really frustrating, but it's almost counterintuitive. So the thing is to open yourself up. Don't close off to that. Get to know them, understand them, and work with them. And I think that once they realize that, wow, this person's all right. They might be 63, but I love chatting to that person. They're interesting, and they're really friendly and easygoing and open, and they let me talk and have my say. And I think if you approach it like that, then I think that definitely helps with that ageism sort of stigma that's going on. But if you're closed off and you blame them and you're a bit sort of grumpy about them, then they're just going to put up that ageism barrier even more. So I think that you need to work with them and be really open and friendly to them. The other thing is I keep learning. I'll always put my hand up to learn more within the company, and I always show an interest. I think that some people can fall into the trap when they're older of, especially if they've been in a company for a long time, they see the politics, they see the flaws, I guess, and things like that, and they can get a bit whingy about it and a bit sort of anti the company and also, a bit like that. And I think that also works against you. I think you need to show an interest. I think you need to be on the same page as the company and the same, understand, just be positive and with the company. no company is perfect, but I think that as we get older, if we sort of get a bit snarky about how the company works and sort of talk to people about that or make little remarks about that, I think that that can also work against you with this ageism thing. So I think that's another one that you need to be aware of. Maintain a sense of humor. Have fun. Like, it's not perfect, but just have fun. Don't gripe and carry it, whinge, I guess. We're going back into the whinging thing again, but just have fun. Don't dwell on it too much. It is there, but you can actually make it feel a lot better. You can actually ease that a little bit by your approach and your attitude. I think attitude is massive. It can be frustrating at times when it's really obvious stuff if you keep getting passed over for a job, and that's something that I guess that's a bit tricky. That one, how to approach that properly. I think that it's good to just have that sense of humor. Don't complain how tired you are all the time, or you've been in a company for a long time and back in the day it used to be like this and now it's gone to crap and it's not the same and it's not as good. I would just get rid of that kind of speak, because I think that really goes against you as well. Another one is to stay adaptable within the company. Companies go through restructures and changes, and it's important to remain open to that and flexible and not be rigid. I think that being rigid can also add to that sort of ageism stigma. And I think that if you're older and you're in the workplace, you need to stay open and embrace change. Don't be cranky about it. Don't whinge about it. You've got two options. You either adapt and embrace it and learn to sort of get along with that new structure, or you find a new job. So people don't want to hear you whinging or saying that the company's changed and putting the company down because of it, because that really goes against you, and it doesn't hold well. So that's one thing that I would do, is just remain open, flexible, adaptable. And lastly, I think that you need to have confidence in yourself with belonging. As I said earlier, you might actually put that label on yourself and think that you're too old. Like when I talked about the social club and looking and thinking, the photo, they're all young people, I'm too old for that. So just be aware of not labeling yourself too much. So apart from it coming from the other side, within yourself, you could be thinking you're too old for that as well, or too old for this, to go for that job, or you could actually be holding yourself back subconsciously or consciously by thinking that you're too old to do something within the company. So you need to have confidence in your ability, in your experience, and know that, yes, I am in my 60s or 70s, but I'm still enjoying work. I'm embracing it. I get along well with everyone. I have confidence, and just not allow that self-doubt to creep in, or those little, our minds that tend to take over at times, which is so annoying. Don't let that happen, because you are relevant and you are, significant in the workplace. Yes, there is ageism a bit there, but you don't have to let it get into you or let it creep in. You can do things to combat that within yourself. I think that when you show a lot of confidence and you have a great sense of humor is everything. I think people see you very differently. And I think that just makes a big difference. They kind of accept you as part of the team if you come in with a great attitude. Like when I come into work, I'm a morning person, so I'm quite bubbly, I guess. So when I walk in and everyone's just setting up for the day, it's sort of like, hi, gorgeous people, lovers of life. I come out with sort of really crazy stuff, I guess. And just this sort of upbeat, and I don't put it on, that's my personality at work. But I'm quite upbeat and really engaging with people. I love engaging with people. So I'm always asking about their weekend and, all sorts of things. So I think when you're like that within your team, people will look at you very differently. They don't see the age. And I've been told that where I am now, that they don't see that age, because I can relate to the 27-year-old and ask them questions and listen to them, and I can relate to the older people. So I think it's just having that really good attitude, and stop looking for that ageism. Stop sort of seeking it out, I guess, and thinking that it's always there. Just push it aside and don't think, try not to think like that, because you're holding yourself, I think it's going against you. So don't think like that if you can. So they're just my thoughts on ageism in the workplace, and how I think about that and how I deal with that. So let me know your thoughts. Have you experienced it? And if so, how did you get through it? How do you get through it? Is it just subtle, or is it coming from you at times? I'd love to know whether you can fight, like, put restraints on yourself because you think you're too old. Or have you had a really bad case of ageism where it's been really blatantly obvious that it is ageism in the workplace? Let me know your stories. I'd love to hear them. Thank you.